Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby and today we're going to be doing another book haul. Because it's just about that time, you know? It's been like about, I want to say 6 weeks, a little bit over a month since the last time that I made a book haul. And since the last book haul, I've collected quite a bit of books since, and so I thought I would show you them today. However, before jumping into the book haul, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. HelloFresh makes mealtime super easy with really fresh ingredients and fun recipes delivered right to your door. With the cost of grocery shopping getting more and more expensive lately, I feel like now more than ever before is the perfect time to try HelloFresh because HelloFresh can be up to 70% cheaper than grocery shopping. And something that I really admire and think is great about HelloFresh is the fact that you're not getting stuff that you don't need, because I feel like oftentimes with grocery shopping you're always getting like too much of some product that you end up throwing out and wasting. But with HelloFresh I feel like you have a lot less food waste because you're only getting the pre-proportioned ingredients of exactly everything you need to make a recipe. With HelloFresh they have over 40 different weekly meal options to choose from, so there really is something for every occasion and for everyone. I like that you can customize these meals to be more to your liking, so if you're not like a fish person you could swap out the fish for a different meat, or if you wanted only vegetarian meals they have options for that too. I think HelloFresh is especially convenient for those of us that have very busy schedules because I don't want to spend so much time trying to think of what I'm gonna have for dinner that night, and I think HelloFresh makes it so easy with these step-by-step recipes. Like, I'm not really that big of a cook myself, but I feel like I always learn so much anytime that I cook with HelloFresh, and they really break it down and make it very easy to understand. My sister and I very recently just made these saucy pork burrito bowls, and oh my goodness, these were so freaking good. And I'm kind of obsessed with the sauce that HelloFresh uses in this recipe. Like, it is so freaking good. I think anytime I make food with HelloFresh, I'm always really impressed by the flavor of the ingredients. Like, the flavor is always so freaking good. And I love that it's just a guaranteed thing at this point that whenever I make HelloFresh food, my whole family gets so excited because we just know it's gonna be a winner. So you can go to HelloFresh.com and use my code gabbyreads60 to get 60% off and free shipping. Isn't that such an incredible deal? When you go to HelloFresh.com, use my code gabbyreads60 and get 60% off and free shipping. What an amazing deal. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video, and now let's jump into the book haul. Alright, so the first two books in this book haul were my book of the month picks from the month of February. The first one is Mame. This one is a contemporary fiction story that deals a lot with like family drama and immigration. On the little inside flap here it says, it explores what it feels like to be torn between two homes and cultures, and it celebrates finally being able to find where you belong. I saw in this description too, it also says that she's the primary caretaker for her father who suffers from advanced stage Parkinson's, so that might be a little bit of a trigger for some people. I know it definitely would be for me, but this one sounds really interesting and sounds really beautiful. I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but I'm hoping to read this one soon. And then I also chose The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and this one is like a mystery thriller that I've been very excited to read. I think I will be reading this one this month. This one, I've heard it involves like a writer's retreat that goes wrong, and it says it like explores like the toxic female friendships type of thing, which is usually one of my favorite things in thrillers, so I am absolutely so excited to be reading this one. I know that Kayla also just announced this recently as one of her Literally Dead book club picks. I can't remember if it's for April or maybe it's for May, but I'm very excited to read this one along with her Literally Dead book club as well. And then I have 4 books that were sent to me by Atria. Atria is amazing, and they have so many exciting things that have been coming out recently, like for example Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I guess they published it in this new cover, which is like really cute, really beautiful, and this is a story that I actually have read but I didn't own the book, so I was very excited to receive this because this was always like one of my more favorite Colleen Hoover books, at least out of the ones that she's come out with pretty recently. But this one just follows this young girl named Bea who has just had the roughest time, like just had a really hard life, and it's mainly about when this unexpected death leaves her homeless for a while, and then she goes back to live with this father that she barely even knows, and then it's kind of like a summer romance. I don't know why, I feel like the song August by Taylor Swift perfectly describes this book. Like, I just remember listening to that song while I was reading this and thinking like, yes, but I just remember really enjoying this one. I feel like this is one of those books that's like the perfect summer romance type of read, so really happy to own this one. I might reread it at some point, I don't know. And then they also sent me Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and this is one that I've been hearing some good things about in the romance community. I did not realize this book was going to be as thick as it is. Oh my goodness, it's like 430 pages. But this one looks really cute because it follows a girl who's a figure skater and then her love interest is a hockey player, which I just love reading about these kinds of things, you know? Like when it comes to sports romance, I don't always love sports romances, but there's something about reading about hockey. I fucking love reading about hockey and figure skating. Like how fun is that? So I'm kind of here for this combination of things. Like I do love figure skating. I do love reading about hockey. So apparently he's the team captain of his hockey team and then she's on like a competitive figure skating team. I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be great. It also takes place at the University of California. So I think it's like a college vibe as well. I don't know, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I hope this one's good. Oh my gosh, they also sent me an ARC copy of Camp Zero. This one actually goes on sale April 4th, and this one is like a sci-fi-ish book that I've had my eye on for quite some time. This one sounds so interesting. On the back, it just says, in a near future northern settlement, the fate of a young woman intertwines with those of a college professor and a collective of women soldiers. And it says it's in the vein of Station 11 and The Power, and I think it's like a post-apocalyptic type of situation. I also noticed that it does take place in the far north of Canada. I love too that there's a blurb on the back of this book that compares it to Blade Runner and Mad Max Fury Road. Like, what the fuck? And it says Camp Zero cleverly explores how the intersection of gender, class, and migration will impact who and what will survive in a warming world. So I feel like this will have a lot to do with like, you know, global warming and climate change and kind of be like a sci-fi that imagines what our world could look like. So I think the Blade Runner comparison does make sense. Oh my gosh, does this not sound so interesting? Especially the comparison to Station 11. I'm like, say what? So very excited to check out this one. And then lastly, Atria also sent me The Chateau. That's how you say that, right? Chateau. This one goes on sale, let's see, May 23rd. So this one is a little bit of an advanced copy, but this one is one that I've been really intrigued by because it says it's perfect for fans of Lucy Foley, Ruth Ware, and Lisa Jewell, like all authors that I've enjoyed books from before. And it says a dream girls trip to a luxurious French chateau devolves into a deadly nightmare of secrets and murder. That had a lot of buzzwords in there that I usually look for, like girls trip, fun, French chateau, okay, deadly nightmare of secrets and murder, let's do it. You know, just from reading this description, it sounds like it has the, you know, vacation gone wrong trope, and that is one of my top favorite thriller tropes. Like, I don't know what it is. I love reading about people going on vacation and then everything just going to shit. I think it's so entertaining. And then Berkeley Romance sent me The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest, which this is definitely one of my most anticipated romances of this whole year. Like, I've been so excited for this book. I'm just kind of obsessed with the colors on this cover. I don't know why. I love the way this like yellow orange looks with this purple. I just think it looks so nice. But this one, I'm excited about it because our protagonist is a bookworm, like she's a big reader, and it says a shy bookworm enlists her charming neighbor to help her score a date, not knowing he's the obscure author she's been corresponding with. So it's like they're neighbors, she doesn't know he's an author, and I think it's a situation where like maybe they were anonymously talking to each other, but then she didn't know that it's him, which is also one of my like favorite tropes when like it's almost like they don't know that they are the ones they're talking to. I don't know what that trope is called, but I freaking love it. And so I'm just so excited to read this. I'm hoping that I'll read this one this month, if not next month. Penguin Random House sent me a copy of Romantic Comedy, and this one goes on sale April 4th. Oh my gosh, this book sounds like it's gonna be so much fun because this book, the premise is so interesting. It says we're following a comedy writer who thinks that she's sworn off love, and the comedy writing show, it says it's a comedy show that airs each Saturday night, so I'm thinking major like SNL vibes, right? Like that had to be the inspiration for this. And so she is a live comedy show writer, and then it's about a romance with her and this guy who's a pop star who like famously only dates models and stuff, and she's like, I'm pretty sure it would disrupt the space-time continuum for a world famous singer who looks like you to get involved with a TV writer who looks like me. But it sounds like it's gonna be so cute. Like I love those jobs specifically, like a TV show writer getting involved with a pop singer. Like I just think that sounds so interesting. I can't wait to read this one. I'm just really hoping that this book can deliver on the romantic comedy that it promises, you know? All right, and then Wednesday Books ended up sending me 2 of their recently published young adult novels novels that sound so freaking cute. The first one is Begin Again by Emma Lord, and this is an author that I have read from before. I know for sure that I've read Tweet Cute, and then I think I've read maybe one or maybe two of her other young adult books as well, and she's just one of those writers that I really enjoy her young adult books. I just think they're really cute, you know, and really precious most of the time. And this one is one of those young adult books where it's young adult still because I think they're about 18 years old, but they're going to college. So like it's right at that age where I usually do love to read young adult, because sometimes with young adult in high school, I feel like it can be a little bit cheese for me, you know, and a little too high school, but I do love reading young adult books where they're going to college. And this one, it says how she's transferring from community college to the competitive Blue Ridge State to major in psychology, but then the moment that she arrives, her plans go off the rails because her rocky relationship with her boyfriend only gets more complicated. I've heard that this one also has a really great friend group, which is also something I really love to read about, especially when it comes to young adult books, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I hope it'll be my thing. And then they also sent Always the Almost, which is so freaking cute. Like, look at this cover. It's so freaking cute. I really love the colors on this cover. I love like the oranginess of it. I just think it's so cute. And the premise on this one just says a trans pianist makes a New Year's resolution on a frozen Wisconsin night to win regionals and win back his ex, but a new boy complicates things in this heartfelt debut YA rom-dram. So we've got a romantic drama happening here. I'm so excited for this. I love the fact that we're following a 16-year-old trans main character in this, and then it says he wants to win back his ex-boyfriend and the star of the football team, Shane. Shane had broken up with Miles 2 weeks after Miles came out as trans, and now he's ignoring him. Then he meets this new boy in town named Eric, who's a proudly queer cartoonist from Seattle. You know, not gonna lie, I think I might be rooting for Eric in this one, you know? But I'm so excited to read this. Oh my gosh, I feel like sometimes I just get really in the mood for a young adult book, and so I'm so glad to have this for when that mood strikes me. All right, and then HTP Books sent me Paper Names, and this one is an ARC copy. This one actually goes on sale May 2nd, and this one sounds like one of those really good, like, contemporary kind of like literary fiction style of stories where we follow from the perspective of a number of different characters. It says it's set in New York and China over 3 decades, and Paper Names explores what it means to be American from 3 different perspectives. So we have one character, Tony, who's a Chinese-born engineer turned Manhattan doorman, and then we have his daughter, Tammy, who we meet at age 9 and follow through adulthood, and she grapples with the expectations of a first-generation American and her own personal desires. And then we also follow from the perspective of this guy named Oliver, who's a handsome white lawyer with a dark family secret who lives in the building where Tony works. And a violent attack causes their lives to intertwine in ways that will change them forever. That sounds so interesting and so deep. It almost kind of gives me like I want to say like Miracle Creek or even like Little Fires Everywhere. Like it sounds like it might be comparable to those stories, which I loved both of those books. So I'm very excited to check this one out. It sounds like it'll be something really special. And then so kindly, Bantam Mystery Box sent me another mystery box, and this is like the Stories and Suspects box. And so this box came with freaking 6 books in it. Oh my gosh. There were some that I already did have copies of, like The Drift by CJ Tudor, which is one that I'm hoping to read this month. So I'll be passing on this copy that I got to a friend, but there were some in here that I was so excited about, like this book right here, The Things We Do to Our Friends. This is one that I've just had my eye on for a while now, not only because I'm obsessed with this cover, like I think this cover is absolutely stunning, but I've heard pretty good things about this one too. It says she's an outsider desperate to belong, but the cost of entry might be her darkest secret in this intoxicating debut of literary suspense about a clique of dangerously ambitious students. And so I love, you know, following a bunch of like pretentious college students in thrillers. Like that's like one of my favorite things. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that this one will be my thing. There's also this book in here called The Bandit Queens, and this one is a thriller. It says she didn't kill her husband, but why not let everyone believe she did? And it says this one is a razor sharp debut of humor and heart that readers won't forget soon. This cover is so cute. I love the little like eyeballs looking in the different directions. They also sent The Accomplice, which I'm pretty sure this is a book that came out quite some time ago, but I have not read it, and now I'm excited because I own it. And it says everyone has the same questions about best friends, Owen and Luna. What binds them together so tightly? Why weren't they ever a couple, and why do people around them keep turning up dead? Sounds very interesting. I can't remember if I've read anything from this author or not, Lisa Lutz. It sounds so familiar, but I can't think if I've read any books from her yet. Also sent The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine, which this is an author that I've read a few books from so far. This one says it goes on sale May 23rd, so this is quite a an advanced copy here. This one, the inside here, it just says a DC philanthropist suspects that her seemingly perfect employee is secretly plotting to steal her husband, her reputation, even her life. What the heck? That sounds wild. And then lastly, they also sent Dead and Gondola, which, you know, I love this play on words right here. I think that's so cute. This one's a series debut about a mysterious bookshop visitor who dies under mysterious circumstances, compelling the Christie sisters and their cat Agatha to call on all they've learned about solving mysteries from their favorite novelist. This one is definitely giving all of the cozy mystery vibes. I mean, just knowing from that title alone, I could tell this is a cozy mystery, but also, you know, all the shout outs to Agatha Christie. I think this is gonna be so cute. And then this next stack of books is all books that I received literally right after my birthday, because if you do recall my last book haul video, I filmed it like literally a day or two after my birthday, and then right after I filmed that video, I got so many books still sent to me in the mail for my birthday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should have waited. But now I will finally get to tell you about some of those books that I still did receive like right after my birthday. The first one came from my friend Hani. Hani is such a freaking sweetheart. I just love her so much, but she ended up sending me We Need to Talk About Kevin, which this is a book that I've been wanting to read, and I've been hearing so much about this book for years. I know a lot of people recommended this book to me after I loved The Push as much as I did, and everybody was like, if you have not read We Need to Talk About Kevin, then you need to read that. And so I'm so excited to finally have this one. I was not, to be honest, I was not expecting this book to be as long as it is. Like, this one's almost 400 pages, and these words are tiny. All I know about it is that it's about this woman who like never really wanted to be a mother, and then it says she certainly never wanted to be the mother of a boy who ends up murdering 7 of his fellow high school students, a cafeteria worker and a much adored teacher who tried to befriend him all 2 days before his 16th birthday. And then I guess this story takes place 2 years after her son has like killed all these people. I don't really know. It sounds like it's gonna be such a wild and emotional time, especially because I really do love reading stories about people who never really wanted to be parents and then who have to deal with like being parents. I think that's something that's really interesting to read about, and I've just heard such good things about this one. I know it got made into a movie as well, so like I would love to read this and then see the movie, you know, that would be really great. So thank you so much, Hani. And then also my friend Erin, which you might know on YouTube, her channel is Erin Megan. She sent me Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry, which is so freaking kind of her, because I've been so excited to read more Lucinda Berry ever since I read The Perfect Child last year, you know, and I really enjoyed that one. I've been just so curious to check out her other stuff, and I think this is one of her newer books. And this one is a thriller. It's about this woman who was a therapist and then she turned to be a stay-at-home mom after her son was born, and it's about how she crashes her car into an icy lake, and then there's 2 boys that were in the icy lake with her, but she saved the wrong boy. Like, her son died and she saved the wrong kid, but then shortly after that car accident happens, that boy goes missing, and then the police start to think that she might have had something to do with this boy going missing. I don't really know. It sounds like it's gonna be so interesting and so unhinged and chaotic and fun, and so I'm hoping to get to this one this month, hopefully. Like, it just sounds like something I really want to read soon. And then Grace ended up sending me Out Behind the Barn, and this one is a horror novella. This one is quite short. This one's a horror novella that I've just heard such great things about. I initially heard about this book from Kayla over from Books and Lala. She did a reading vlog at some point last year where she read this one and she talked about how creepy and weird it was, and ever since then I've been like, okay, add it to my wish list, like add it to books I want to read because it sounds really cool. This one, I don't even know what it's about, and like the premise on the back doesn't really give me anything. It's just like a scene. It says the boys crept to the window and watched as Miss Maggie carried the long bundle into the barn, the weight of it stopping her aging back. And then they say she got someone. This was family growth. Like, are they watching this woman murder people? Like, is that what's happening? I don't really know, but it sounds like it's gonna be really interesting. It's also just really incredibly short, so I'm like, man, I need to read this book soon. I'm debating if I should try to like save this book and then do another kind of video where I like read a couple horror novellas all within like 48 hours, because I had so much fun doing that video last time, but I don't know. I'm just so excited to read this one. And then Vanessa ended up sending me Real Account Volume 1, and this is a manga that I have had my eye on for quite some time because I've heard so many people compare this manga series to Squid Game, and ever since I heard that comparison, I was like, oh my gosh, immediately want to read. And it says our main character, it says, has found himself addicted to the newest social networking service called Real Account, but one day almost 10,000 other people get sucked into the real account zone where they became players in a series of deadly games. The basic rules of these games are simple. If you lose all your followers, you die in real life. And if you die, all of your followers die with you. This just sounds like it's gonna be an absolutely very interesting and chaotic time, and I cannot wait to read this. Does that not sound so freaking cool? And then the lovely Julie ended up sending me Death Note Volume 3, which I'm so excited to finally own this one. Now I feel like I will start binge reading this whole series, you know, because I've been holding off for a while because I've only read the first one so far that has volumes 1 and volume 2 in it. And then I do own the second one right here, and that has volumes 3 and 4 in it. And then this one will have volumes 5 and 6 in it. And I'm just so excited to get more into Death Note because that first freaking volume was so freaking good. And if you have absolutely no idea what Death Note even is, I think if you're a fan of like thrillers or like horror type of stuff, I think you would really like Death Note, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. It's all about like this teenage boy who gets this notebook where he can like write people's names in the notebook and then they die. It's just very interesting, very smart. I feel like this series has so much to say about the world and like humanity, and it's really deep, but it's really freaking good. And so I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Julie. I'm so happy to own this third one, and these books are some of the most stunning collections I've ever seen. Like, I love this black edition of these, like the black sprayed edges. Oh my gosh, it gives me so much life. And then this last one came from That Cheesy Scrub, and they sent me Saga! Oh my god, and this is the freaking Saga Compendium, okay? If you have no idea what Saga is, it's a graphic novel series that I am just really obsessed with. I think I've only read the first 3 or maybe the first 4 volumes, and I read these a long time ago. I want to say in like 2016 or 2017, so it's been quite a minute for me, and I have kind of a fuzzy memory on them, but they're like a little bit fantasy, but it's so beautiful. Like, I'm obsessed with the art style that's in these graphic novels, and I do think Saga is probably like my favorite graphic novel series that I've read so far. Like, I just absolutely love it. It's kind of like a romance too, in a way. Like, we follow these characters who are in love with each other and they have a family, and it's just the cutest shit. And so I'm so excited to own this compendium because I've been wanting to, like, you know, at some point I just want to like binge read this entire series, and now I can because I'm pretty sure this compendium has like the first 9 volumes, I want to say. Yeah, so on the back here it does say that this is the first 9 volumes, and this is a series that is still continuing right now. I'm pretty sure there's only 10 or maybe 11 volumes currently published, so this is almost all of them in this collection, so that is so kind of you. Thank you so much for sending this to me. That was very, very generous of you, and I cannot wait to read this one. Alright, and then lastly, I have all of the books that I've bought this month, starting with, I went to a used bookstore with my friend Brittany when she was in town, and it was so much fun because usually I don't have any luck with finding things at this used bookstore that I usually go to, because usually they just don't really have a wide selection of things and I never get lucky there. But this time I did get lucky because I found The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers there, and this is a sci-fi that I've been really interested in for a long time. Like, I feel like this book has been on my TBR for years now. Like, I want to say maybe since like 2017. I don't even know when this book got published, but I feel like ever since it's been published, I've been curious about it and I've heard such great things about it. And this is one that I honestly don't even really know too much what it's about. I just know that it takes place in space and we follow like a crew of people on a spaceship, and I've just heard it's really funny, it's really cute, it's really charming. So I'm really excited that I found a copy there because this copy is in like nearly perfect condition and I found it in there for just a few bucks. So like, I'm very excited to read this one. I also found this copy of Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young, and this is one that, again, I don't really know if this will be my thing or not, because from what I understand about this story, it's kind of like magical, like maybe a little fantasy-ish, and we follow like kind of a small town island vibes where there's like a lot of secrets, and I don't even know. Like, I have no idea what this is about, but look at this book. Like, how could I not buy this book when it was there? And apparently this is like a Fairy Loot exclusive. I think that means it came in like some kind of bookish box, and that's why it's so freaking beautiful. But like, look at these end pages, are stunning. I love that we have like sprayed edges or like designed pages on the side. I don't even fucking know how they did this, but it's so freaking beautiful, right? Look at that. Oh my god. And then the freaking inside, oh my god, it's like green with gold. I don't even know what's happening here, but I love it. Like, this is like one of the most beautiful books I own now. And so I'm definitely planning on reading this one in the month of March. And I'm hoping that this is something that I love because it's gonna stay on my shelves forever, whether or not I enjoy it, you know, because it's beautiful. So if you have read this book, I would love to know your thoughts on it. You know, my friend Brittany that I was with when I bought this book, she said she loved this book. So that was reason enough for me to want to buy it in the store immediately because this is stunning. I also recently bought these 3 books for the TikTok reading experiment video that I did. If you missed it in the month of January, I did a video where I was reading TikTok horror book recommendations, and these were the 3 books that I ended up buying for that video. I actually did buy these like quite some time ago, but I couldn't show you them in my last haul because the video wasn't out yet, so I wanted it to be a surprise. This one, Little Paranoias, is a collection of short stories. There's actually 20 short stories in this tiny little collection, which is really cool. There were some that worked for me and there were some that didn't work for me, but overall I had a really fun experience reading this short story collection. I also ended up getting Dirty Heads by Aaron Dries, and this is one that I didn't end up loving as much, but this one kind of has like a cosmic horror vibe to it. We follow this young boy who's a queer teen living in the 90s, and there's this like weird element to this book where you're reading from the perspective of like an evil entity, and at times it worked for me and at other times it really didn't, but overall it was a very interesting experience reading this one. And then also freaking Any Man by Amber Tamblyn, which is probably my favorite book that I've read so far this year. Like still, this book is so freaking good. And this is a story about a woman who's a serial rapist who's raping these men, and we follow from the perspective of all of her victims, and so each part of this book follows a different man who was a victim of hers, and this book is so freaking powerful. I mean, obviously major trigger warnings for anything like sexual assault or, you know, self-harm. Like there's so many different triggers in this book, so I would definitely look into that if you're concerned about that before reading. But oh my gosh, this book is incredible. It's definitely my favorite thing that I've read so far this year. Highly recommend the audiobook, by the way, because the audiobook is like full cast and it has like sound effects and it's so well done. And this book just made me feel the whole range of emotions, and it really shines a light on something that I think is really important, which is sexual assault, and also something that's not discussed as much, I think, and that's male victims of sexual assault. And so I just think this book was absolutely incredible. Highly recommend. And then the last 2 books that I bought this month were Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun and How to Sell a Haunted House, and I bought these both for book club reasons because I ended up reading Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun because this was Kayla's Literally Dead book club pick for the month of February, and so we've just recently done the live show on Kayla's channel for this, which I will have linked down below if you wanted to check it out. But yeah, this is the 3rd installment in the Finlay Donovan series, which, you know, Finlay Donovan has always been one of my top faves. Sadly, this book just ended up being okay for me. Like this one is not a top favorite of mine in the series, but this one ended up being around a 3-star for me. I'm still glad that I read it though, because I do really love these characters and I can't wait to see where the story ends up going. But also I just feel like this book was mostly filler and kind of boring and just didn't really do a whole lot for me. But yeah, I'll have that live show linked down below if you're wanting to check it out. And then of course, you know, we have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, because this is my book troop pick for the month of March that we are in right now. So if you would like to read this book along with us this month, I'll be having a live show either at the end of this month or early next month with Gavin and Lexi, and I'm so freaking excited about it. Grady Hendrix is like one of my top favorite authors, you know, like he's an author that I definitely have my eye on. Like whenever he's publishing something new, I'm definitely reading it right away, and so I can't wait to read this one. I've heard such mixed things. I've heard mostly positive things, but I have heard quite a bit of mixed things as well. And this one, you know, he takes on the haunted house, and I've just heard it's chaotic and weird and wild, and I cannot wait. Alright, so those are all of the books that I've hauled within these last few weeks. I was about to say those are all the books that I've read. Like, no, that would be a lot. But I am so excited to get my hands on some of these and read some of these books. And once again, thank you so much to anyone who was so kind enough to send me something off my Amazon wishlist. Like, that is so freaking kind of you. Thank you so much. That is so generous. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone watching. As always, I really appreciate you, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.